1. They didn't see me as a man. 2. They sure as hell weren't afraid to prove it. I was carrying a tray of whiskey glasses, weaving through clouds of cigar smoke, when Johnny Romano spotted me. He froze mid-sentence, his cold blue eyes scanning me up and down like I was dirt tracked in from the street. "Hold up," he said loud enough to stop the whole table. "Who brought the help in here? Or did you just wander off the plantation, boy?" The room went silent for a heartbeat, then exploded with laughter. Big men in silk suits slapped the table, choking on their cigars, pointing at me like I was some kind of circus act. I kept my head low, my grip tightening on the tray so hard my knuckles turned white. Johnny leaned closer, his smile twisting into something mean. "Make sure you keep them hands clean, boy. Don't want no tar rubbing off on my glass." That one cut deep. I swallowed the heat in my chest, my father's words echoing in my mind. "Don't fight them with fists, son. Fight them with the day they least expect." Johnny didn't know it yet, but his day was coming. I wasn't born in this city, but the city made me. By the time I was 19, I'd learned how to walk quiet, keep my eyes low, and stay invisible when the wrong men were in the room. That's why, when my father told me to take a job in the Romano family's club, I didn't argue. He didn't tell me why, just said, "Keep your mouth shut, do what they tell you, and watch everything." The Romano Club was nothing like the neighborhoods I knew. This wasn't some corner bar. This was the kind of place where every table had men in $1,000 suits, gold watches, and enough power to make the law look the other way. A place where respect was bought, and dignity was cheap. The first night I walked in, I wore the standard uniform: black shirt, pressed slacks, polished shoes. I was just the help, the black servant who poured drinks, cleaned ashtrays, and never looked the bosses in the eye. But that didn't save me from Johnny Romano. Johnny was the boss's right hand: white suit, slicked back hair, a diamond pinky ring that caught the light when he slapped the table. He had that slow, lazy smile of a man who enjoyed making people uncomfortable. And from the second he saw me, I could feel it. That cold, sharp edge in his stare. He stopped talking mid-story, eyes locking on me like a predator spotting fresh meat. "Well, look at this," he said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "Did someone order the farm delivery? Or did you just wander in from the fields, boy?" Laughter roared around the table. Men slapped each other on the back, spilling whiskey as they pointed at me like I was a joke they'd all been waiting for. I didn't respond, didn't even flinch. I placed his drink down carefully, but he wasn't finished. "Better watch those dark hands, boy. Don't want to leave stains on my glass." The words slid under my skin like a blade, but my father's voice was in my head again, steady as ever. "You wait, son. When the right day comes, they won't be laughing." That was the thing Johnny didn't understand. I wasn't here just to serve drinks. I was here to watch and wait. I'd been in the Romano family's club less than 5 minutes when I learned 2 things. 1, they didn't see me as a man. 2, they sure as hell weren't afraid to prove it. I was carrying a tray of whiskey glasses, weaving through clouds of cigar smoke, when Johnny Romano spotted me. He froze mid-sentence, his cold blue eyes scanning me up and down like I was dirt tracked in from the street. "Hold up," he said loud enough to stop the whole table. "Who brought the help in here? Or did you just wander off the plantation, boy?" The room went silent for a heartbeat, then exploded with laughter. Big men in silk suits slapped the table, choking on their cigars, pointing at me like I was some kind of circus act. I kept my head low, my grip tightening on the tray so hard my knuckles turned white. Johnny leaned closer, his smile twisting into something mean. "Make sure you keep them hands clean, boy. Don't want no tar rubbing off on my glass." That one cut deep. I swallowed the heat in my chest, my father's words echoing in my mind. "Don't fight them with fists, son. Fight them with the day they least expect." Johnny didn't know it yet, but his day was coming. The night it happened, the Romano Club was louder than usual. A big deal had just gone through. Word was, the family was about to take control of the docks. Every big name in the city was there, including men who could make or break Johnny Romano's future. I walked in like I did every night. Black shirt, clean shoes, eyes low, but inside my pulse was steady. Tonight wasn't about serving drinks. Tonight was about ending something. Johnny spotted me the second I stepped onto the floor. He smirked like a man who thought he owned the room. "Hey boy," he called, loud enough for the whole table to hear. "Why don't you bring me a drink? And this time, try not to spill it with those clumsy dark hands." The men laughed. But before I could move, the double doors at the back of the room swung open. Every head turned. My father walked in. He wasn't wearing a suit tonight, just a dark overcoat, his presence enough to make the air go still. Two of his men followed, and you could feel the shift in the room. Every gangster in there knew who he was. Johnny's smirk faltered. He pushed his chair back and stood. "Mr. King," he said quickly. "Didn't know you were—" My father didn't even look at him. He looked straight at me. "Son," he said, his voice deep and calm. "Come here." The word "son" hit the room like a gunshot. Men glanced at each other, realizing all at once who I really was. The air felt heavy, like a storm was breaking overhead. I walked past Johnny, close enough to see the color drain from his face. My father turned to him, his tone flat. "I hear you've been keeping my boy busy, serving drinks, cleaning your shoes." Johnny swallowed hard. It was just a joke, sir. No harm meant." My father's eyes went cold. "You see this skin?" he said, motioning to me. "This skin built this city. This skin owns the docks you're so proud of, and you've been spitting on it." No one in the room dared breathe. My father leaned in slightly, his voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. "From this moment on, you don't speak to him. You don't look at him. You work for him." The blood drained from Johnny's face. His lips trembled, but no words came out. I stepped forward, meeting his eyes for the first time. "Now," I said, my voice calm, "shine my shoes." For a second I thought he might refuse. But then, with every man in the room watching, Johnny knelt. His diamond ring caught the light as he picked up the rag, the same one he'd thrown at me days ago, and began to polish my shoes in silence. The room stayed quiet, except for the slow, steady sound of the rag moving. For the first time since I walked into the Romano Club, I wasn't invisible. Johnny's hands trembled as he polished the last bit of leather. The same man who'd once barked at me like a dog now knelt on the floor, eyes fixed on the ground. The same crowd that used to laugh at his jokes now stared in dead silence. When he finally set the rag down, I didn't move. I let the silence stretch, let the humiliation sink deep. My father finally spoke. "You see, Johnny, a man's worth ain't in the color of his skin, but in the weight of his name. And my boy's name carries more weight in this city than yours ever will." Johnny didn't answer. Couldn't. He just stood, slow and stiff, and stepped back like he was hoping the floor would swallow him whole. My father turned to me. "You're done here," he said. "No son of mine serves drinks to men who don't respect him." It hit me then. This wasn't just about putting Johnny in his place. It was about me knowing my own worth. We left the Romano Club together, and the air outside felt different. Lighter. The rain had stopped, and the neon lights from the street bounced off the wet pavement. As we walked, my father spoke low. "You handled yourself well. You could have exploded that first night. But you waited. You made him show the whole room exactly who he is. That's power." That night, I learned something most men in that room would never understand. When someone tries to strip you down to the color of your skin, the real revenge isn't just in fighting back. It's in standing so tall, they have to look up to see you. A week later, word spread fast through the city. Johnny Romano had been moved from the docks operation. My father didn't have to tell me what that meant. The man who thought he could spit on me was now working shifts so far down the food chain, nobody cared to remember his name. Sometimes people think racism dies when the insults stop. But the truth is, it doesn't just disappear. It changes faces. It hides. And when you've been on the receiving end of it long enough, you learn to spot it from a mile away. But you also learn this. The same world that tells you you're less can be made to watch as you rise higher than they ever thought possible. And for Johnny Romano, every time he looked at the docks, he'd remember the night he had to kneel before the boy he once mocked, and realize that in this city, respect isn't given, it's